Antonio Wehrli doing his gravity painting on the world map, symbolizing peace.
So NASA has proven that gravity is different depending on where you are in the world. Like in Ireland, it's quite strong gravity, but as example in Sri Lanka, it's quite weak. But still to us, it feels the same wherever we are. And so I use gravity to symbolize peace, to symbolize that we are all the same.
In the name of art, people just throw paints on the wall. How can that be art that any kid can do? And what's so artistic about it?
I think it's the idea behind it, because nobody else has done it. It's like the egg of Columbus.
Correct.
He did it. Everybody can do it, but he was the first to do it. So artist is also, I think, with some practice you can do this.
Yeah.
But I'm the first.
We are with Antonio Wehrli. Antonio Wehrli is a modest, humble Swiss artist living in China. Uses thick paints, gravity, centrifuge, and time as co-worker. Mr. Antonio Wehrli also supports causes of leprosy. I mean, he supports leprosy patients, work with leprosy patients, and an irrigation project. Mr. Antonio uses happy shades by his own admission. So you're an engineer, you worked as a photographer, you worked as an auctioneer, and then painting.
Artist.
An artist, yeah. So what is it about painting that you find it is your calling?
I always painted a lot since I'm quite small, and some of my teachers enjoyed my paintings and tried to help me develop my own style. But why I ultimately became an artist is because I had to paint. Like the urge to paint was so strong that I just couldn't ignore it. That's why I became an artist.
And this specific style and a specific art form which you use the thick colors, how did that evolve?
Well, I wanted to have some unique language which doesn't exist yet. So I started this style, which I call structurism, which is very thick, and the structures are cut by each other to give way to other structures. So basically it's all abstract elements, but because of the precise line, you see something visual, like a lady on a bike, or ladies in the water, or castle, whatever.
But by your own admission, you said that your work can't be duplicated. In the sense, you ask a singer to re-perform, the singer will do that. You ask a magician to do an encore, the magician will do that. So that means they have a structure, they have a style, they have a method to their art. In your case, since you say that it can't be duplicated, it could be accidental.
Well, it can be duplicated, just not identical. Because especially in the gravity artworks, the way it flows, it depends on gravity and on the thickness of the color, on the humidity, on the temperature. So there are a lot of elements that influence the flow, and also myself, I will stop it. But even when I put the colors onto the canvas, of course, it's impossible to do it 2 times identical.
Antonio Wehrli is a Swiss artist living in China. He's already a citizen of China, already very difficult to manage. How did you manage this?
Well, I'm honorary citizen of a city in China, which is called Pidu Wuzhen. And I had some exhibitions there, and also during the opening ceremony, I believe I had a speech unprepared in Chinese, which the mayor of the township liked.
Oh,
So we kind of connected, and then after I think quite quickly, after maybe half a year or so, 10 artists got honorary citizenship. I was the only foreign artist. The others, they are Chinese. But so it was a ceremony, and we are the only 10 honorary citizens of this township.
but tell me, Antonio, art flourishes in a liberal environment, in a freer space. Doesn't China restrict your artistic freedom?
There is, of course, certain rules that you have to follow, which exist in every country. Every country has certain rules or certain censorship. In those boundaries, I can do whatever I want.
Antonio, freedom of expression for one is blasphemy for other. Now, when you painted a goddess with a revolver in one hand and cigarette or wine in a glass in the other, what exactly did you want to convey? Typically, it feels some of the artists do this only to create sensation.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't about the sensation. I mean, the ladies, they are sexy, definitely. So I wanted to create something appealing, especially it appeals to me, and I hope to others as well. I didn't portray the Buddha with smoke or wine to offend. I wanted to show that even we have some bad habits, like drinking too much or smoking a lot, eating too much, etc. We have the spark of becoming a Buddha in us. So even we have our Catholicism, you would call it sins, we still can attain a higher status of consciousness.
Now, what is your word to the young? If you have to tell them three things in the manual called life, what would they be?
3 things?
Yeah, 3 things.
Okay, I'm
Three
not
is
sure
less
whether I
or
get
more?
3, but maybe 1 or 2.
I love it.
So, what I really believe is if a person has a dream, this person should try to get this dream. Like for me, a very early dream was to travel, and so I searched for means to achieve this dream. And often I felt in my heart where I have to go. Like with, I think 17, I felt I should go to Norway. So I even skipped school to go to Norway because I really had this urge to go there. Or I traveled 1 year in Russia. This was also because I really had the feeling, the urge, I need to go there. So I think it's certainly not something that the parents like to hear. And sometimes, maybe as a young person, you should try to find a balance between your wish and the timeline of your wish. Although, ideally, I think it's really just follow your heart.
The sentiment of our journey is celebrate life. In one way or the other, we believe that you are celebrating life. Otherwise, you wouldn't reach and do what you're doing. What, according to you, Mr. Antonio Wehrli, is celebrating life?
Drinking champagne.
That is a good one. That's first actually. Drinking champagne is a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you drink alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay, but that was just
Yeah.
a simple one. Of course, we can elaborate on this.
Please.
I think celebrate life is, again, live your passion, live your dream, love, live fully. So whatever you enjoy, that's celebrating life.
Thank you so much for your time, Antonio. It was amazing and fun speaking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
While
you
I
too.
keep resting on your art piece. I can't afford it, but still I can rest on it.
This you can afford.